Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very grateful you've chosen to put me in your earbuds today. Please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and do leave me a review. I love reading them, and it really helps me get found by other people who need to hear what I share. I'd also love you to email me your mindset and productivity questions or topics you'd love me to cover to hello@franexcel.com, because I know a lot of you think I'm inside your heads because you tell me all the time. But if I don't know what you need, I can't give it to you. So let me know. Last week was Mental Health Awareness Week. And while I love these things for the increased awareness around a particular subject, I don't want things to be limited to only having the conversation at those times and then forgetting about it the rest. Mental health is something that can and does affect all of us in some way, whether it's ourselves, a family member, or a friend or a colleague. It will have touched our life in some way. It does not discriminate, and it can be incredibly complex. Now, after thousands of hours of studying psychology and the human mind, it's still something I don't feel vaguely qualified to talk about other than through my own experiences. It's important for me to be vulnerable and honest in this episode so you can understand where I've been and how I've got through onto the other side, so you know that you can do it too. I get so many amazing messages on Instagram and into my inbox about how listening to the Positive Pants podcast has helped people overcome certain issues that have held them back for years, and thanking me for the difference it's made to their lives. And that really, truly humbles me hugely, but it means the absolute world to me. But the reality is, to all of you who have sent me one of those messages, you did the work. Yeah? I just shone a torch for you to light the way a little bit because I've been there. Yeah. This is why I also love bringing you the Bounce Back series too. I want you to understand that when things get a little messy or a little dark, it is not the end. Usually it's just the beginning of something great, even if it doesn't feel that way at the time, which it usually doesn't. The key messages from my incredible guests on the Bounce Back series, and if you haven't listened to that yet, what are you doing? Head there now. But the biggest messages from them were to trust yourself, love yourself, show up for yourself, be kind to yourself, and don't make the mistake of not talking and hiding away from things. Don't give up. When you acknowledge and accept and ask for help, that's when the real good stuff happens for you and your life can change for the better. Look, we all have our unconscious beliefs lurking around, causing us to self-sabotage aplenty, causing us to stay stuck. You know, we all have our childhood traumas that have shaped our identities and belief systems. And then what we consciously want knocks up against it, making it really, really difficult for us to actually get it. We need to identify it, to heal it, you know, thank it for keeping us safe for all these years, and understand that it's not true and it's not needed anymore. There's so much information and advice out there that is overcomplicated and or fluffy. And it's difficult to see the practical way to apply a lot of it, or to find the motivation to, because the reason it works isn't explained to you. So you doubt its effectiveness, and the effort becomes too much and the excuses creep back in. So it's really important to me that what I provide is not that. I always encourage you to do your own research and find what works for you, because we are all different. Now, what I share as someone who's been there, done it, and got the t-shirt myself. I share it as someone who has made the decision to heal themselves, then find out what works and why on a brain and body level, so I can help people do what I did. Is thousands of hours of reading, watching, qualifications in transformational coaching, neuro-linguistic programming. Currently, I'm studying to become a hypnotherapist, CPDs in emotional intelligence and positive psychology, neuro coaching. The list is ongoing in terms of other qualifications I want to get. Something I am fascinated by at the moment is in the mind and body connection. I love this stuff. I live this stuff and live for this stuff. But understand, I'm barely scratching the surface in terms of what I know. So make sure you listen. And most importantly, take action, but know your truth. Know your opinion and find what works for you. And if me sharing all my little vulnerable bits helps that, then I am game. So it's my turn. I talk about many, many things that I've been through in various episodes, but I thought it would be really helpful to have them all in one place for you. I say all of them. Whenever I'm going through something new, I wait until it's sorted and then I will share with you, because that is also important to me. So I've lost track of the many times and ways that I've sabotaged myself in the past. What I'm about to talk you through caused me to sabotage relationships, opportunities, jobs, friendships, pretty much every area of my life. Now, for me, my main struggle was anxiety at the root of everything. Think panic attacks, sleepless nights, constant catastrophe, the whole kit and caboodle. It was fun. So I struggled with eating disorders, both anorexia and bulimia, throughout my teens that followed me through my life, in all honesty, in some form or another, whether it was abusing my body with junk food, too much booze, then not eating at all, or throwing up after eating, cutting out entire food groups, yo-yoing constantly, along with a little bit of body dysmorphia thrown in for good measure. And I still wonder if what I see in the mirror is what other people see from time to time. But anxiety really was the root of it all. Anxiety around being judged by other people, not being accepted, not being good enough, but also the general day-to-day, as in every damn day, anxiety where I would catastrophize everything. I was paranoid. I was chronically negative. I've had CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, my body creating trauma responses to keep me safe that actually weren't helpful. It ruled my life. And when I look back, I can appreciate that for the majority of my life, I wasn't very happy. I had everything I could need or want, but underneath it all, I was struggling. Outwardly, I would look like the go-getter, the person who went and got herself a successful career, was self-made, all of these different things. But underneath, I was struggling. It was something I felt I had to hide, a dirty little secret. Yeah. I mean, some of it was plain as day to see because I was so thin at various points, but it was impossible. Yeah. But there was something I felt a lot of shame around. It was about control and lack of control at the same time. I felt like I wasn't normal, in inverted commas, and I couldn't understand why I had to struggle so much. Why me? Why me? Poor me. Yeah. I genuinely felt like the world was against me in so many ways. People and the world were always trying to trip me up. There was just something else waiting around the corner, waiting to pull that rug out from underneath me. It was like some sort of universal conspiracy in my head. But the reality was I was creating pretty much all of it for myself. Not in a it's all in your head kind of way, because of course it all feels incredibly real to us. But the real reality is that I didn't understand. I didn't understand it, so I couldn't see how my thoughts and beliefs were leading to behavior on my part that were creating my results. I was taking no responsibility and allowing myself to be a victim. I had personally created my very own little prison in my own mind, but I didn't understand that's what I'd done. I didn't understand what it was, how it was happening, why it was happening, or that I could do something about it. That I could choose to do something about it and for it to be different. We do not understand our own power. That's the thing with unconscious habits, thought processes, beliefs, and behavior. When you don't know you can change it, how can you expect to? When you keep repeating the same patterns and running the same programming day after day after day and somehow expecting different results, you can kind of see the issue there, right? But I get it. That sheer frustration when things aren't changing, the constant cycle of beating yourself up when things aren't how you want them. It's not a fun place to be. I get it. We all have our stuff and we all have different experiences. And I do mean all of us. But the less we judge ourselves and each other, the more we accept and encourage, the better things will be. The more we understand how much control we have, the more we understand that it can and will change when we make that decision, however that happens, however you choose to make that happen for you. You know, it's never a straight line from where you are to where you want to be. It's more of a higgledy-piggledy wiggle of ups and downs. Yeah, there may be days where it's one step forward, three steps back, when you get triggered by something that you don't understand. But if you just keep going and keep the faith, you will get there. You know, there are days where you find the root of something, and in that instant, it's blown that belief out the water, and it's just not there anymore to hold you back. Believe me when I say change can be fast and long lasting. That is one of the presuppositions of NLP. You know, and I'm proof that it's possible. This was 30 years of programming I had to undo. You can't do that overnight, so do not expect to, but you can do it. You can. I've worked with a lot of other mindset coaches over the years, and even we have our major blind spots. You know, the things that we can't see. Something that comes up a lot is this belief that we have to be perfect all the time, always in a good place, but it's complete rubbish. I have a coach. I have a psychologist. I think everyone should have these things. It's a very American thing to do that. Everyone has a coach and a therapist. I think everyone should. I think it's fundamental. You know, there is always another layer of something to get through. Always. Doesn't matter who you are, what you do, or what you know, there will always be another unconscious layer of behavior and beliefs to get to. But that's the magic. Getting comfortable with that is the magic. People come to me with this one last thing that needs to be sorted, and then everything's going to be fine. There's one last thing that needs to be fixed. And I've been guilty of it too in the past, until I realized this, until I really, really, truly got this. There is always more. And that's not just okay. That's good. It's a good thing. It's exciting. Everything you blast away is another level up. But we have to be honest about it with ourselves and with others. You know, once you know how to solve one thing, it's easier to work on the next. But when you can approach it with curiosity rather than judgment, it gets really freaking interesting. It's utterly fascinating how we work as humans. We are so unique in the way our brains and our minds work. If you look at an animal going through a traumatic experience, you know, think of a gazelle being chased by a lion, you know, it's horrendous and it's very stressful and it's awful. And then 10, 15 minutes later, it's grazing in the pastures again, like nothing ever happened. We don't do that. We're so unique. But it's being able to take the step back from it being something that is wrong with us on an identity level. Spoiler alert, it's not. So understanding it's a bunch of ways that our brain and our body have adapted to try and protect us, and that we can change it, is incredibly empowering and liberating. We always look for something outside of us to give us that empowerment and that liberation. It all starts in here. You know, we look at it so differently, with less emotion and frustration when we think of it that way, that it's a bunch of things that have been trying to keep us safe, and we can change them. Yeah. So how do you even start? You start small. And the first step is honesty. The things that help me and help all of my clients, all the things that I talk about on the Positive Pants podcast, they are how I live my life now on the daily. This is not something that you do for a couple of days and then don't do. You know, I can always tell if I've let something slip a little bit, because I will feel it. Like if I haven't been moving enough, if I haven't been walking, or if I haven't been doing my journaling, if I start to feel like I'm in a bit of a funky mood, I'm kind of like, hang on a minute, what's going on? And then I'll realize, you know, this is why I'm always harping on about routine and doing the basics. It's often the most simple stuff that can make the biggest difference. You've just got to be aware of this stuff so you can catch it before it takes hold. So some of the things are more short term than others, you know, things that you do for a while, but there are some fundamentals for me, the real basic non-negotiables. And those for me are my morning and evening routine. There are certain rules that I have with myself. No phone before I'm actually up and at 'em. Making sure I go for a walk in the morning. Got meditation, reading, walking, journaling. And obviously I'm bringing out my exact method of journaling in the Positive Pants Planner. So make sure you get on the waitlist on www.franexcel.com/PPP waitlist. You know, being in nature is fundamental to me. I could never live in London now. I lived there for a decade. I couldn't do it now. Self-care Oh, such a biggie and so easy for people to not do. Your body is telling you everything you need. Yeah. I told you they were simple. You know, when there's something in particular that I want to work on, like a particular issue or a belief that I've unearthed or some unconscious programming I found, I will immerse myself in it. So, for example, you could take money mindset. I would immerse myself in money mindset. I'll read books about it, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos or videos from Gaia on it. I'll go to events. I will work with someone specifically who specializes in that. I will get all up in that issue and give it the focus. Yeah. And I do the work. If it's an issue, you know, if an issue has been particularly pesky, I will have some NLP or hypnotherapy, maybe even go down the woo route a little bit and get a little energy healing, some acupuncture, Reiki, kinesiology. They're a few of my favorites. And these are all things that I do. All you need is awareness of the issue and a determination to change it and the information to get you started. So hopefully you may have been able to tick those 3 off. So these issues I've had are not issues anymore. Sure, occasionally they may rear their ugly heads from time to time in some way, shape or form. My body and mind remembers them, but I have the awareness to catch it, get curious as to why it may be showing up and deal with it. Yeah, what may have triggered it? What is going on for me that has caused my body to remember that? Yeah, but these things don't define me. They are things I've dealt with, not who I am. And whatever is going on for you doesn't define you either. Give yourself some credit for the power that you have. Understand the power that you have. Take action. Whether that's reaching out to someone like me for guidance, booking in a call, or a charity like Mind, or a mental health professional, or your doctor, or a friend, or a loved one, whether it's going to events, learning more, reading books, however you choose to start your journey towards change, just start it. Yeah, please just start it. And be aware of your mental health all the time. Nurture yourself, nurture your friends, check in on people, check in with yourself. But fundamentally, if I can do it, you can do it, my friend. So, if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, I work with people one-on-one and through my Proactive Pants Mastermind. So stop waiting for if and when and decide to change things now, because you can. And as always, I hope that was helpful. So any questions, just let me know. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.